I need to do it over? Okay. Don't laugh.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hey everybody, I'm Hugh Brownstone for Three Blind Men and an Elephant, and we're back here at Leica Central at Photokina 2018. I'm delighted to have Maike Halberts with me today. She is the product manager for the APS-C interchangeable lens line at Leica, most specifically the TL2, which is actually over here. I'm getting tired. And the CL, which to my delight is one of my favorite cameras because it channels so beautifully the Leica 3A, which is the first camera I ever held in my hands. So congratulations on that. Yeah, okay. So there are things that Maike can talk about and there are things that she can't, and we're going to try to navigate that. But let's start gently. Really, these are not new cameras, but they are unique cameras. And I wonder if you would just share with us a little bit about the design philosophy of cameras, which are in some ways an homage to the past, and in others a radical break, as in there are no labels for the exposure triangle. Maike, talk to us about that.
So, as you just said, both cameras are not the latest here on the fair, but they are fairly new. We both introduced them last year. And as you see, they're very different in a way. We call them kind of brother and sister. They have the both DNA, the same DNA, but one of it is more extrovert, one of it is a little bit more introvert maybe.
Which one is which?
We always say that this one is a bit more extrovert, a little bit more flashy.
Well, that's a little bit out there because it's got really an incredible user interface. Very much icon driven, very much smartphone, touch sensitive focused. Yeah.
Exactly. And this one is a bit more traditional, conservative. Nevertheless, it carries all the modern ingredients to be, to go on at the same speed level. So we don't want to slow something down, and we just, we can go the same speed, but in a different kind of way, different kind of how to approach photography. And that's a difference between these two on a very, very high level.
And it's a very clear difference because this has a traditional, what I'll call traditional Leica menu system, very reminiscent of the SL. So if you're familiar with that, you'll get this. Of these two, I had a tough time deciding which one I would take out more often when I had them for review, because I loved the VisiFlex, I loved the ambition of the interface, but I actually found myself gravitating toward this one a little more. And given that it's the same basic technology, I think that's pretty amazing. But what is it that led you to take away all of the labeling?
You know that the TL line was first.
Yes,
we tried
2014.
We introduced the first T. We wanted to make a real statement, radical. We want to embrace touch functionality, but not in a way that you just have the same buttons that were on the outside of the display inside. We want to really have a nice user interface that people that are related to smartphones those days could refer to and say, hey, that's actually working with gestures and stuff. So yes, swiping, pinching, and of course it was difficult to incorporate that into the camera. And with the TL2, I think we hit the spot in terms of performance.
It is a big difference in performance,
exactly.
Much more responsive.
It took a while, and the first try sometimes,
All great cameras do. When you go back and look at the original Leica 1, and then the transition to the 2, you didn't have an integrated rangefinder until 1930.
Exactly.
And yeah.
It takes a while, but with the TL2, I think we hit the spot. It's now perfectly fine. It works really smooth and really well. So,
I liked it.
Yeah, and it's a different kind of philosophy for this camera and the T especially. But we also saw, because it's so different from what people might expect from Leica, we gave them the VisiFlex, and the VisiFlex is actually nice because it had the swivel function. You can do this kind of perspectives, and it's not about the megapixels of a VisiFlex or an EVF. It's about how great the view is and how big the images you see, and the latency time and all that.
I agree.
So this one is just, in terms of that, brilliant. If you don't want to, if you're not into EVF photography, you just go this. If you're into EVF photography, you just put it on top and use it as you want to use it.
Well, I'm too old to lie on my belly getting a low-down shot, so I love this.
This one's really like frog perspective, really nice.
Yep.
Having said that, of course, as you know, rangefinder style, not in terms of rangefinder as a technology, but in terms of photography, getting the camera to your eye, and you just cover the right side. Most people just cover the right side. Your face is still valid. You're a friendly person. The camera is not covering your face. You have the ability of looking with the other eye into the scene and taking images in a different way. So many people were asking for that. That's why we kind of split the line of APS-C in two different ways of photography.
That is really interesting. I never thought about that. You know why I like this so much? Because I have a big nose.
Okay, so you go.
I go right there. No problem.
I know there are many left-eyed people, but most of the people are right-eyed.
Yeah, left eye dominant. Claudia is.
I started taking pictures in my personal biography with M, and I personally really believe if you have this kind of camera in front of you, you will get more related because your face is not completely covered. You are more open. But that's my personal experience.
I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense.
So,
I think that's probably true.
And I think that's why many people like this kind of photography. So this is why we have these two kind of directions. They are both, as I said, DNA is the same, technically, almost the same level, little differences, but it's the way of photography. This is really, as we call it, the act of photography. Just dive into it, concentrate, just do what you want.
Now,
nevertheless, I come back to the question because you asked why are there no engravings?
I'd already forgotten the question. I'm really glad that you brought that up.
Of course.
Yes.
I detour sometimes, but I'm coming back to it.
I understand how that works.
So with the T, we also established a new line of APS-C lenses.
Really important.
Glass
Really
that
important.
really hits the spot. And I come back to the question of engraving, but
You just left it completely.
Just a few words on the glass.
Okay.
When we established APS-C, there was one thing. We didn't want to make people uncomfortable with the format of APS-C because full frame is such a buzzword, and we have 3 full frame cameras in our lineup, and they're all great.
I know.
But APS-C has an advantage of being compact.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, if you talk to our optics department and Peter Carb in particular, we want to give the customer that they can calm down. That APS-C is not less than full frame.
I agree with you.
So we wanted to make them, if you have a camera like this or a full frame and you enlarge both pictures up to A3, A1, whatever, you won't see the difference apart from, and that's depth of field, because
Of course, that's a
larger
perspective
sensors
difference.
do less depth of field. But in terms of resolution, sharpness, the look of it, you will see no difference. And that's what the glass actually is for in combination with the sensors. So as we developed the lines of lenses, we at one point decided not to have an aperture ring. And if you don't have an aperture ring,
that was very bold.
due to several, and if you don't have an aperture ring, we decided, because we call them blind lenses, we can't really engrave something here.
Because one is an f2 and another is a 2.8 or a 3.5.
And there's one thing a customer always should know: where she or he did the settings and what settings are currently set. And if you have on here a 1.4 but you're only using a 2.8 lens, so what's right, what's correct? And I'm getting confused or not confused. So we decided to go for the blind lenses in both things, because this is a little bit more traditional and the people want a little bit more direct feedback what it is. We integrated the small
window,
the small
panel
window with all the main ingredients like time, shutter speed, which program you're in, and exposure compensation.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's it, and that's all you need, because those are the values you need to create a picture.
Although I want to give you guys credit, because on the software side, what I learned is whether it's this camera or that camera, when you start futzing with these dials, the actual values will show up momentarily on the screen.
On there as well.
Yeah,
because
I think that's great.
Sometimes you just, you set your camera like this. Sometimes you set it and you see everything in the EVF. Sometimes you just want to discreetly run around and change something, and you just see it on the top of the display. So.
Right.
All 3 dimensions are covered.
So you answered the question. That was excellent. Now let's talk about the. You ought to be able to. So then let's talk about the lens line. How many APS-C lenses do you have now, and what are they?
Currently we have 7 lenses. We have 3 vario lenses, and they cover from 11 millimeters to 135, which is then, if you do the equivalent ones, it's 16 to 280 millimeters. You cover kind of every focal length there is with vario lenses.
And are these variable aperture as well?
Yes, they are variable aperture.
That's one of the things that's interesting to me about crop sensor coverage glass. I like it very fast because I like shallow depth of field, and I'm not a bokeh master. That's not why I like it. I like it because it allows me to better isolate what I want the viewer to be pulled into. That's how I see it.
And I completely get that. And for us, especially for the vario lenses, our goal was compactness.
Right.
And again, as our optics department always calls it, it's a pentathlon of creating lenses. There are so many different aspects of a lens, and usually they fight against each other. If you want to have a fast lens, compactness goes out of the...
Absolutely.
Right? So we always make the decision very, very consciously. What kind of lens do we want to have? What do we want to achieve with it? What does the customer wants to get out of it? And then we make conscious decisions. For our vario lenses, we said compactness. That's the first and one of the priorities, apart from the image quality, of course. So we gave in to the aperture and the speed.
Yes.
On the other hand side, then we have the primes, and there you really can see what the difference is. We wanted to build one of the smallest lenses there is to emphasize on the compactness of the system. So we went for an 80mm, nice wide angle.
The full frame equivalent of about 28, 29.
Exactly. But we went for 2.8 because we said we want to be as compact as possible. This is a companion, just carry it with you, don't worry. But of course, there are people. I know someone that stands exactly next to me who loves a 1.4 equivalent 50.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
And then you need a bit more glass. You need a bit different glass, and the lens is getting significantly bigger.
Yeah.
But that's, for you, this is not a size, or it doesn't matter that it's too heavy, because it's actually way less heavy than full frame.
Oh yeah, absolutely right.
And the other person even likes this.
Now, where are you on the rest of your primes? Just let's lay them out.
We have the 80mm, we have the 2.023, which is equivalent 35 Summicron. Then we have the 1.450, and we have the 2.860mm, the
macro.
Yeah, which the little backstory behind that, we had a very famous lens in the R system, the Upper 100, and that was the idol behind the development of this lens to achieve that kind of look and that kind of thing. We even went better. That was 1:2 in terms of
magnification ratio.
Exactly. Thank you for that.
You're quite welcome. Glad to be of service.
And that lens even can do 1:1. So, but that was a hero for everyone in the development to kind of recreate this kind of look and that kind of.
I would love to have a 100mm full frame equivalent really fast, because a 2.8 is what, like a 4.2,
right?
And especially for portrait, especially for portrait. So I appreciated when I had it the 60mm image qualities, but I was looking for something faster. But let's use this as a segue into the announcement here at Photokina, which is a gobsmacking announcement in my book. The L Consortium. Now, the L mount is first appeared on these cameras.
It did, yes.
And yet, we've been told from the outset it was designed for full frame as well.
It was.
Now, we've talked about this earlier. I know you don't have inside information, or if you did, you wouldn't share it with me. It's all good. It's fine.
Yeah.
But as a product manager for the APS-C sensors, I'm really curious about your take on what kind of possibilities exist now that Sigma is an L-mount licensee here.
I think with the M-mount alliance, we have 3 capable companies. All the technology is there. They both go way back in photography. One a little bit longer than the other because one is more consumer electronics console. Nevertheless, the M-mount alliance, for me personally, as a product manager for these systems, is opening up possibilities for our customers. And the range of lenses that there might be in the future, the range of cameras to choose from, will be just broadened. And I'm not the master to tell someone you have to do this or this or that. I think it opens up, especially also for APS-C, and more customers, more possibilities, and also shows APS-C quite important.
I
and a
agree.
nice sweet spot to hit in terms of photography.
We agree. Our primary camera for years was the Sony a6000 series, a6300. Love it. I personally didn't need more. You see what we're using right now to record, so I'm with you 100% on that. I think, again, I know there are certain things that you can't talk about, but I am interested in your sense of where the market is heading. Last night, Zeiss announced their ZX1, which really reminded me of the TL2 because I think at a certain level it aims at the same kind of market. People who are smartphone savvy, really not interested in the analog world, very passionate about image quality. What do you see as the kinds of things happening in the market that will have a very direct impact on the next generation of these cameras?
There's, you probably know, the market is just revolving. There's so much going on, especially right in front of Photokina time-wise. The big companies announced their first mirrorless full-frame cameras, and that opened us a completely new world for lots of photo enthusiasts out there. And let's face it, I'm with Leica, but I just love people who love photography. That's just an important thing. So that's good. That means the industry is not dying. It's, it steps up and it gives the customer what they're asking for. It turns technology that actually is available now and on a certain level into new features, like get rid of the mirror and incorporate video functions that have never been before in a camera. So there are more and more features. So in terms of features, yes, there's much more that we could put in here. And probably we will see some more features people are looking for.
But I love the fact that in the end, Leica is about the experience. There's the image quality, which we just have to set aside because that's a given. But what has really struck me over the designs of the last couple of generations of cameras, from medium format through full frame and into APS-C, these are some of the most daring, aggressive, intelligent designs I've seen in the industry.
And we are very proud of that because we want to make, again, I think Leica offers to photographers, professional or just hobbyists and enthusiasts, a companion to go along. And it shouldn't be a hassle, and it shouldn't be picking up a camera. It should be, as I was saying, you should have a smile on your face if you're using a Leica camera. And no matter if you're into taking images of flowers and getting, excited about that, or just running around streets.
Don't get carried away. Don't get carried away.
Or just, want to take the picture of your family and friends. You just should have fun with it and a smile on your face. That's what I think that photography should stand for. It's serious, and there are lots of tragics that are being covered with photography, and that's important.
Very important.
Very important. And we do tools for that. But picking up a camera, not being carried away by buttons and menus and stuff, but just concentrate on creating an image with aperture or shutter speed, or these days with ISO even if you want to, and a little bit of exposure compensation.
Absolutely.
Done. I love a little bit of black and white, so I always put that on the right dial to switch between black and white and color.
Do you?
Yeah, I love it. And that's again why this is so nice, because I can configure this camera to my personal needs. Just save it on the SD card and even put it into another camera, load it up, and the other camera is set to my personal preferences as well. So
by the way, you know the story, but this camera saved our bacon when we got married at a Starbucks because I was so excited I forgot an SD card.
See?
The built-in memory made it. Well, Maike, what a pleasure, what a joy to meet you. What a compelling story about the role of APS-C and the role of photography in today's world. Thank you so much for coming by.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
For 3 Blind Men and an Elephant, I'm Hugh Brownstone, once again at Photokina. See you next time.